Hey guys, what's up? Careful with your PS4, dude, you slammed it on there.
Searching for, wanna leave this place. I wanna.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Naomi Ayala and thank you for tuning in on another video. I thought that for my first video I should talk about something that has been bothering me recently. Something I didn't really know if I should talk about. I don't want to say I'm somebody who experiences sleep paralysis frequently, or I mean enough that it's, you know, like concerning. Before I moved to North Carolina, I had only experienced sleep paralysis once, and I don't know if everyone will, like, after listening to this will say that the things that have happened are like just coincidences, but I honestly feel like everything has to kind of like align together somehow, you know? I was in California living with my mom at the time, and I remember that day I was sick, so she told me that I could just stay home, you know, try to like get some rest. And I remember waking up and I remember the closet door being like wide open, and I was so confused as to why the door was open, because I have this like weird thing where I have to lock the door before I go to sleep. So I just hate when closet doors are open, or like doors in general. So I remember waking up and seeing the closet door wide open, and I started to like feel confused on why it was open, and I was like, you know what, like let me just get up and close the door. Like as I started to get up, I noticed that I couldn't move. I could feel myself forcing my body to move, but nothing was moving. And that's like the moment that I realized that I was probably experiencing sleep paralysis, but I honestly wasn't panicking. I mean, there wasn't anything to panic about. I wasn't feeling any like fear. And suddenly I started to feel like something is like pulling me off the bed. I didn't even start to think like, is it a demon or something? I started to just feel like,
dang, this is gonna hurt when I fall on the floor.
And as soon as I'm off the bed, I start to float down like a feather. It was the strangest thing. I could feel when I hit the bottom, but on the way down, it was just like all, like the whole world had like gone in slow motion kind of thing. It was super strange. And then I felt myself being like pulled towards the closet. And I woke up, I was on the ground. I don't know if like that makes you believe it anymore, any less. That was the only time I experienced sleep paralysis up until I moved to North Carolina. This room used to belong to my stepsisters, and they would always say how they would always find these doors behind me like opening on their own. They would open during the night. They would hear strange sounds. They would see like people walking through the hall. And I've always been that kind of person that like if you hear something, see something, kind of just like brush it off and it'll go away. Pay no attention to it and it would like go away. So I kind of like just didn't really think about, you know, those little things. But when I slept here one night, I woke up the next day and I was looking at the closet. Mind you, I always have the doors closed. The doors were wide open. It was like pretty early in the morning. The sun hadn't gone up yet. It was probably like about 5 in the morning. I'm trying to get up to go close the doors and I can't. My body won't move. Like I'm trying to, my body's not moving. And then suddenly I feel like a force, like something is like pushing down my eyelids, you know, to like get me to fall asleep again. And I remember just screaming like, I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. And I ended up just falling asleep. I would say like about a month ago, I was sleeping during the day. Everyone had left to school. To feel safe when I go to sleep, so I go and I lock this door and I put my phone on the windowsill. That's exactly how I remember. I locked the door, put my phone on the windowsill. And I remember waking up about 10 minutes later because I had checked the clock and it was like 7:40, and I remember seeing a little girl sitting on the floor like where I am right now. Like she was sitting here, crisscross applesauce. She was sitting here wearing a blue dress, just staring at me. And I felt no fear. I was just like thinking that my mom was babysitting somebody, and I like paid no attention to it. I was like, oh yeah, she's just, you know, this girl is not random. She's probably from some neighbors, is what I assumed. And I remember saying hi to her, and she didn't respond to me. She just kept staring at me, and I was like, okay. Just go find my mom, because why is this little girl in my room? And as I start to try to get up, I feel like force, like something is trying to something is like pressing on my entire body. And I was like, no, this is not happening right now. And I feel like something forcing my eyelids to close. And I'm just here thinking like, wow, this is really happening right now. And I fall asleep. I wake up again about 15 minutes later, and there's this man standing about exactly to where I am standing right now. He was standing right here wearing sweatpants and like all dark, and he was just staring out the window. And I remember this time staying quiet. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get up slowly. I'm just gonna head towards the door because I have no idea who this guy is. Probably just a friend of my mom's or something. But I don't want to risk it. I don't want to like fall asleep again, is what I was thinking. And as I try to slowly get up, I notice I'm not moving. And again, I start to feel a pressure over my entire body, and I start to feel like something forcing my eyelids to close. And this time I started screaming. I was like, I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. Like, stop trying to fall asleep. I was like forcing my eyelids to stay awake, or like to stay open, but no luck. I ended up falling asleep again. And the third time that I woke up, I grabbed my phone and I like booked it out of the room. I was like, nope, not trying to like be paralyzed again. So I run to the living room, and I see my stepsister and one of my stepsisters and one of my cousins. And I was kind of like curious as to why they were there on a school day. And I asked them, and they were both saying that they were sick. So that made no sense to me. So I was gonna call my mom and be like, where the heck are you? All these kids are here, like, what's the deal? I noticed my phone is not on the sofa, so I head back to my room. And as I walked through the doorway, the little girl was on the floor again, just staring at me as if she was like, you know, waiting for me. And this part I found like a little bit strange. Again, didn't put too much attention to it. And I see my phone is on the windowsill. I grab it, I sit on my bed, and I proceed to like, you know, call my mom. And I remember I was like scrolling through my phone, and as I find her number and I'm about to click to call it, the phone starts to get blurry. Like, I start to lose my vision. And I start to feel myself like I'm awake, my eyes are open, but I start to feel my body fall asleep, like if I was about to faint. But my body was just collapsing onto the bed. I was just like falling sideways. And I remember dropping my phone to the floor, and suddenly something starts forcing my eyelids to close, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, I see the door is wide open and the phone has been thrown across the room. Like, that made no sense to me. That's the only part that had me like tripping. It had me thinking like, hey, maybe this was more than a dream. Maybe I actually experienced this. But just like little things, like little evidence that I have when I wake up, just leads me to believe that there's something going on. The last story I have that like leads me to believe that this room is haunted or this place is haunted is that on New Year's Eve, the night was over, you know, we had celebrated the new year and everyone was getting ready to go to sleep. I decided to wash some dishes, so I remember standing in the kitchen facing the sink. My brother had walked towards me, you know, to talk to me, but I remember seeing someone walk with him. And there was other people in the house, so, you know, I wasn't scared, and he just walks away. But I could feel like the presence. I could feel like somebody was still behind me. So I turn around and I thought someone was just trying to scare me. I turn around, nothing is there. And I know you're thinking, hey, you're just imagining it. Like, you've got a huge imagination. And thank you. I thought so too. But later on, as I'm still washing dishes, my boyfriend comes to me and he starts talking to me. And I see my little brother walk down the hallway once again, and I see someone walk behind him, but when they get to the part that the hallway meets the kitchen, they start walking towards me. And I do get scared because I can see this from my peripheral view, and I turn really quickly and nothing is there. And it was like a figure like in a white shirt is what I remember. And I tell my boyfriend, hey, like something creepy just happened, but I don't want to say it out loud because I kind of don't want to like jinx it. I don't want to make it feel more real than it already felt. And he's like, did you just see like a white figure walk towards us? And that's when my brain was like, what the heck? He saw it too. Like, I'm not crazy. It kind of like put a little comfort in my heart and my soul. If you guys have ever experienced anything that's like creepy as hell, just like this story, I don't really want to call it a story, leave a comment down below. Tell me, like, and if you know what the heck is going on with me, like, you can tell me that too, because I really like to know.
I'm so thankful for everybody who has been supporting me, and I hope to see you guys next week. Bye, guys!